Good afternoon, guys. Happy Thursday. I am getting ready to be done here with the Georgia Bulldogs down in Athens because they are killing me. The football team let me down a few weeks ago against Notre Dame. And then, man, yesterday they played a perfect first half against Tennessee. I'm like, finally getting back on track here with college basketball. And then that's it. The second half, they couldn't get anything going, and Tennessee just bum rushed them, and Georgia looked like there was a talent level gap there in the second half. So that was frustrating. Maryland's playing tonight, and you know what? I am determined to get back here on the positive. It's going to be a big weekend with the NFL. I need to get a little bit of momentum going, and it's been hard to get it going the past few days. So Maryland basketball tonight. Let's spend a few minutes on it. Why I think it's a perfect spot. They're at Northwestern. So the first thing, us just go through Northwestern, then we'll circle back to Maryland. Northwestern, it's like the model of consistency. They pretty much have had the same program now for almost a dozen years. Chris Collins is their coach, and Northwestern's a feisty group. They made the tournament the past couple of years. They're never the best team. They're never the worst team. But this year they were projected to be one of the worst teams. They were losing a lot from last year, and anyway, so they were projected not to be great. It's been an up and down season for them. They've lost three in a row. They've lost six times. Four of their six losses, I believe, have been less than 5 points. They don't turn the ball over, as you can kind of imagine. It's a smart school. It's a smart program. They don't really beat themselves. They don't sprint up and down the court. They try to play a ball control offensive efficiency is the name of the game for them. The reason why they haven't been good this year is they just haven't really been that efficient on offense. They're not shooting well. They're getting tough shots. They have two scorers that have really good numbers. What's it? Brooks Barnheiser and Nick Martinelli, 20 points and then 18 respectfully. They do the bulk of the scoring. They're interesting matchups for Maryland because both of those guys are wing players. About 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". And that's Maryland's, like, all right, I don't want to say weakness, but I need to see it. Now, I think defensively with Miguel and Rice, they'll be able to handle these two guys. I think it'll be a challenge for Reese and Queen on that second level of defense to make sure that those two guys don't get to the rim. But they have a hard time getting to the rim. They're going to settle for jump shots. I think Maryland's going to be able to out physical them. Northwestern's going through just a tough 3-game losing streak, especially a couple nights ago. Michigan State spanked them. So Northwestern's not very deep. They're not great. If Maryland's going to get it, Maryland's highly motivated to get this win. So when you circle back to Maryland, you look at the season. It's setting up to be a great year, right? They've gotten battle tested early, had a couple nice wins, but then a couple really tough losses on the road. They're learning how to play together, learning how to play in a new system with brand new players. These guys never played together, so there's expected to be growing pains. This one, though, they feel like they got to win. The last game, home against you, or 2 games ago, home against UCLA, and then home against Minnesota, was back-to-back good wins. The Minnesota game was sloppy. They're 15-point favorites, only covered by 6. I expect them to clean that up. It's almost like if they would have won that game by 20, 30 points, maybe a little too overconfident going into Northwestern. I think they'll be ready to go. They can't be too overconfident because they haven't won on the road. So physically, they're just so much bigger and stronger inside. If they can score early and put the pressure on Northwestern, and then those two guys I mentioned, Barnheiser and Martinelli, are settling for jump shots, Maryland's going to be in a good position. I love Gillespie. He's like one of the easiest guys I found to root for. I feel like he always makes the right decision at the point guard spot. And Reese and Queen, eventually they're going to play great together. It seems like your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. Tonight feels like a good matchup for them. So I do like Maryland a lot. I'll have that out here when the pod comes out. And I was going to go back. I second guessed it. So yesterday I was going to do this pod on the on the Bills Ravens playoff game from 2021. Just to kind of go over like who's still there on which team and blah blah blah. And then the internet here wasn't working. Like all morning, it was just like in and out. I don't know exactly why, but I was like, maybe it's just a sign that I shouldn't go backwards because I don't know if that's good juju or not. So we'll skip that. Tomorrow, I'm going to do the pod on Notre Dame and Ohio State so we can lock into that because I feel like Monday morning, all we'll want to talk about is the AFC and the NFC championship. So we'll do the pod on Notre Dame and Ohio State. And yeah, we get a little closer to the Ravens Bills game, and I think I'll do that probably Sunday and do my full breakdown. And I'll break down these other two games, the other three games, but we'll do that accordingly. I want to be confident if I'm going to put these bets out this weekend because last weekend I overthought it, and like I said, it's 4-2 with getting the games right with the spread, but just bad record trying to hit all these prop bets. So these standalone games makes you want to do the prop bets, and I don't know. There was no offense last week, so those bets just really didn't hit. I want to think about it a little bit more. And then to be blunt with everybody, just getting a little bit gun shy with some of these college basketball games because I don't know if I'm trying too hard. Feels a little reminiscent of the Padres, where I'm watching and trying to lock in, and maybe I'm just overthinking a couple things. So I'm gonna try to have a productive weekend here with college basketball because there's a lot of games I like, and maybe I just gotta launch out 5, 6, 7 games instead of two or three. It's like so tonight I went with just one because I really love Maryland. But what I've been doing these past couple of games is it's like hard to get away from games. So I've been having a lot of games written down and try to circle back to my favorite two or three. And that process hasn't exactly been working. So if I launch out a bunch of games this weekend, that might be the fix. Oh boy, I'm figuring out in the gambling world, it's never easy. And yeah, every time I go on a little bit of a losing streak or things aren't going the right way, it's the one healthy reminder is it's why you just bet a few bucks on these games for fun because predicting human behavior is hard as it is. People you don't know playing a sport, when people pretend like it's easy. So even when I get the games right, I try really hard not to brag about it because I do feel like it's luck in a lot of situations. But that's no excuse when I get the games wrong. It just is what it is. So. All right, there's enough of that word salad. I will be here in the morning, talk about the Maryland game, and then get ready for Notre Dame and Ohio State. Have a good night, guys. If you're watching the game, it's on the Big Ten Network. Not to playing until 9 o'clock, so a little bit of a late game. So be safe out there. I know the weather's not great, and I'll see you guys in the morning.